with Brendan Taylor. Thank you very much for joining me. You are one of the stars of Monster in My Family, the Stacey Kananen story. Sorry, it's a big name, so I was
Yeah.
trying to make sure I said it correctly there.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good here. Yeah, just in Vancouver right now, and off to Toronto in a couple days. So yeah, just keeping busy. We just had our Thanksgiving here. We have Canadian Thanksgiving, so it's a month ahead of American one. So I was lucky to be in town for that. So just had that yesterday.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto myself, so
Okay.
I made the turkey last weekend, and it was
Nice.
one of the first few times it wasn't for like a whole bunch of people, so it's kind of a little bit more low key, just for
Yep.
myself and my wife. So
Nice.
it's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't. I have like a smaller family, but going to my cousin's house, he's got like three kids, and they have their partners, and so it was a pretty full house with all the traditional fixins. It's actually quite
Nice.
rare for me to have that, so it was actually really nice. Yeah.
Great. Now you have an incredible cast on the film.
Mhm.
What was it like stepping onto that set? You know, you've got Alicia Cuthbert in there, just a some terrific talent. So how was that?
Yeah, I mean it was amazing. So I didn't find out. Oftentimes we don't really find out who else is in the movie until we start to hear
Mhm.
rumors of small industry, friends of friends, and who got it and who didn't. So I didn't know that Alicia was in it, um, till uh, a, a short time before we actually started. So, but also in this film, it just so happens like several of the cast members are like I know from we've either done plays together or we've been in other things together, and even Kate Tois, who played my mother, is actually my former acting teacher. And
Oh
so
wow!
that's why, and yeah, well, if you haven't seen the movie, it's kind of funny the dynamic there. So, but yeah, so in that part, it was really, and James Pizzonato, who plays the detective, is a friend of mine. We've done three plays together, I think. Like it, so it's to have that like familiarity is like, oh man, this is so nice to have that just sort of shorthand and like comfortability like that. And then Alicia is obviously I had not met before, and she's just the consummate professional. It's just so like built in her experience level and like what the
Mhm.
professionalism and like how she sort of elevated the whole set and the whole project by bringing what she brings to it, because she's very skilled, very available, very all the things that you want in a lead actor, and leads do there's a leads do lead the set in a
Mhm.
way and sort of set a standard, and she definitely did that. So yeah, it was yeah, that was a great time for sure.
Awesome. Now you play Ricky, the son of an abusive father. What did you do to prepare for like embodying that role?
Yeah, yeah, I mean all of these sort of adult children were not just abused but terrorized by their
Mhm.
father, which is like a whole other level of abuse. And it's just really important to really dive into that the seriousness of that, and the pain that would come with that. I mean, you unless you've whenever you're taking on an actor's experience or a character's experience rather, you're trying to tap into that exact sort of thing, and you may or may not have that exact experience, and it is your job to find it, and it's really learning as much as you can about whether, I mean, with this character, that there's a lot of information out there because the court
Mhm.
proceedings are out there on the internet, so you can actually find them and find the details of what they went through as children, and it's taking hearing that and taking it in, and bringing yourself as you do as an actor in your own relating your own sort of painful experiences to that, and the empathy required to get there. So um
Mhm.
yeah, it's being as honest as you can, I think, to uh, to bring it to that, and try to put yourself in their shoes and why they did what they did.
One of the things that I found really compelling in the performances is it did very much feel like watching you all interact like family, and there felt like there was closeness there on the screen. um, and the journey like Rickie took from clearly wanting to be a protector and his turn later in the story.
Hmm.
um, what do you feel like in when you're thinking about the character and thinking about what they went through in real life as a family? What do you feel made him sort of break that way and become that kind of abusive person like his father was?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, everyone justifies things in their own way, and I think that's what happened for him. It's like, this is just, it's never, yeah, you never play evil, you never try to be evil. That's a trap, because you're guaranteed to have just unbelievable performances. Not believable, rather, not unbelievable in a good way. But yeah, I mean, it's um, yeah, the it's really trying to put yourself into, like, yeah, where he was coming from, and
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's a pretty, hard thing to grasp, like what he went through, and it it's he just sort of found that that was the way he was going to deal with it, and I think it made total sense with him. And if people weren't on board with it, then you're part of the problem too, kind of thing. And
Mhm.
also, how could you not believe me? This is how you should deal with it. I mean, that's sort of what it came to, is a sort of betrayal of, like, how could you sort of not be along with this? It's like, well, if you're not going to be with me, you're against me, kind of thing. And you're going to go down
Uh,
with me, kind of thing. So yeah.
now, how did you sort of shake off inhabiting that role at the end of the day? Like, what did you do to try to cleanse yourself? Because there's a lot of darkness in that character.
Yeah, I mean, the 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 reality is the film sets are almost always really great places to be, and we all, if everyone's being professional, which they are, and they definitely were on this set, it's everyone is respecting where we're at, what's needed to be done, and our job in front of the camera and the story part. But in between that, the moments of levity and friendship and things with people on the set, and that, like, Jess, our director, is amazing, and she's just such a welcoming person, who's a very collaborative person. And yeah, I mean, it's if anything, like, I find for myself, like, really emotional roles like this, they should never be really traumatizing, you would hope, or like
Mhm.
sort of dig into you like that. It should really just more leave you spent and exhausted, and like you've given yourself a lot to it. And yeah, but I think I mean, there's something to be said about certain parts or scenes lingering, with that, for sure. But it's yeah, just trying to unwind in any other way that you would, and getting good night's rest, and checking in with friends, checking in with your scene partners too. That's a big one. And Alicia's just gave so much to it, and then I would check in with her and some of the heavier stuff, and just to see where she's usually fine and stuff. So yeah, it's trusting all that process. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you had a lot of friends working on that along with you. Did you ha- and you mentioned the fun on set. What did you guys get up to sort of entertain yourself between takes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we yeah, I mean, the green room is always just sort of fun. We sort of have to always be at the ready. So uh, you can't really go too far or like wander around. But yeah, I mean the uh, just sort of wander around and having good chats, telling jokes. I play like I taught. I showed Alicia like New York Times connections. I do that like every day, and she hadn't seen that, but like Wordle is like obviously more common, and then so we
Mhm.
that was uh that was one of them. We got into doing connections every day, like all of us. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like a good time passer when the long breaks in between. So um,
Some of those connections, those are they are just like they'll be like something where it's like a name of a product minus the last two letters or
yeah,
something like
some of them
that.
are so cheap. Some of them like it makes you so angry. They're like they either do something like that or some random thing like minus two letters or like the inverse like calculus of the. It's like no man, that's not a connection. I'm sorry, that's not what that
That's
is.
just playing with people's heads.
Yeah, or like the genuine trick ones that they have of like these are a connection. Like, oh no, it's not the right one. It's like no, but they are. Those are the same word. That's a connection. It's like oh, it's not the right connection. It's like all right,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's been a lot of a lot of frustration. You can at least share it with people when you do it together.
now you have played like a lot of roles, ranging from space miners to police officers to members of magical secret societies.
Mm.
Um, so you've got the journey between a lot of different sort of fantastical worlds. What's it like getting to play all these different types of characters?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the most fun part. Is I if I look back on sort of stuff I've done too, it's like it is really cool to think about the range of different characters because that's what I enjoy. I don't like being pigeonholed into one type of thing, one type of project, one character, and I think there are a lot of actors who maybe might just kind of want to be themselves but in a different clothes and there's not anything necessarily wrong with that and but I like the challenge of imagining different places in the world. I mean, that's what I did growing up. I'd play with my friend. I don't know if kids do this anymore, but like you play in the forest, like pretending to be X-Men or pretending to, and we would like make up our own superheroes and
Mhm.
worlds, and you could see it all, and and uh, and even like early video games. I grew up with like '90s video games, like everything's sort of spelled out. Like there's no almost imagination now because it's all a perfect immersive world. But back then, it's like you picture these pixelated worlds and you can see the rest of the world around it. It's like that's sort of where I live. So I mean, I love diving into different characters and worlds and tones, and that's kind of what got me into this job in the first place, for sure. It's just like this is where I am. This is where I always am, and I might as well try to get paid for it somehow.
Now,
Yeah.
if there was a dream role or a story that you'd want to be a part of and bring to the screen, what would that be?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I just saw, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, uh, and one battle after the other, and any like from it's I think of more like directors and styles versus like individual characters.
Hmm.
Um, but like yeah, like the Coen brothers to PTA to Tarantino. Like Tarantino was um, an early influence, and I pictured myself being, all of the characters in his movies and stuff like that. So like I doing something like that. That's maybe not an archetype and more something that's a main character in one of those worlds that it's the comedy tragedy um, movies that I'm drawn to like that. I just when done right, I think there's nothing more entertaining. Yeah. So
Yeah, you got to be in Fargo, right?
yeah,
And that and like a Coen Brothers fan myself, that must have been like a magical moment to be able to be on the screen in one of their
yeah. Like
worlds.
yeah, the show was technically created because it's based on the show, but Noah Hawley, the showrunner, is just a genius. Like he wrote every episode, and like that's one of those. A lot of times in movies and shows, you can kind of like find your way, and whatever dialogue works, it works. It's like his is all very like you just stick to the dialogue because he's got it perfect, and he's got his style, and um, yeah, that was a perfect example of that. That season of television ended up. I just happened to be in it, and but it is one of my favorite seasons of TV ever. Is season two
Mhm.
of Fargo. The whole show is great, like all the seasons, but they're very different. One to like they're not connected. You can watch them
Yeah.
individually, but season two, that like the '70s vibe and to all the actors in it, like it just it's just that's I'd love to. I mean, I'd love to be in a show like that. Oh, wait a second. I had a tiny part in it. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I dream to just do more of that for sure.
Awesome. Okay, one last question. Is I got to read your bio, and I'm a fellow child of the '90s.
Mm,
So this is a really important one. Who is your favorite Animaniac?
my favorite Animaniac. Oh wow, I good question. That I got out of that show. Um, I mean, you can't go wrong with Wacko. He's just he's every time he's got the he's got the timing. He's yeah, he's sort of the perfect comedic relief. He makes no sense, much like most people don't, but he just makes a little less sense than everyone, and maybe that's why
No,
he's the best.
I would have said Wacko as well. So
Yeah,
we're in good company. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today,
yeah.
and
Thanks, man.
have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.